Hey, this is Aaron Lee from Killin Candace, and you are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Brutally Delicious!
Hey, you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast. I'm Bruce.
And I'm Chris.
Today we've got Aaron Lee from Killin Candace, an unbelievably great, dirty rock and roll band out of LA. You're going to want to check this out. We've even got a tune for them coming up.
I'm loving this new breed of high octane rock that's coming around.
Yeah, it's like our second interview this week with bands I wasn't too familiar with, but bands that I'm totally in love with now.
Yeah,
I'm referring to Wild Street, and it reminds me of like the 80s, but you mentioned it in one of these conversations that it's like the 80s with a 2020 sensibility to it. It's really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Lots of live music and real players and not really quantizing and programming.
How about that? Come on.
Oh,
Hello.
Aaron.
Hey, what's up, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you? Meet my partner, Chris.
Chris,
Hello.
how you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Not too bad, brother. Hey, I just want to let you know, I don't have my video thing functioning, so are you good with just the audio line?
We only use audio. That's perfect.
Oh,
yep.
Great.
So it works out great. Yeah, man, I got all my wires crossed this morning. We're doing a bunch of these, and I just dialed the wrong number.
It's totally cool. It's totally cool, man.
So you doing okay?
Yeah, man, great. Not too bad. Not too bad. How about you guys?
Doing all right. You out in LA today?
I am. Yeah, I live out here in Hollywood.
Nice.
Very nice.
I just listened to the song on your Facebook page, and it reminded me of LA. And then I hit I hit the about, and then it was like, oh yeah, they are in LA.
Yeah. Which song?
Which song was it? Let me go to it. When I just clicked videos, and it was the featured video, Misdeception.
Yeah. That's the single, and we did a video for it. That we released that earlier in the year, actually.
Nice, killer sound, really good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's like ass kicking rock and roll.
Yeah, that's like always kind of been my thing. Being from Britain, I've always had a bit of that punk influence. Know, but so I like to keep that kind of driving, hard edge and that gritty attitude there. But then a lot of my favorite bands are also that kind of 80s hard rock, hair metal sound, big riffs, big choruses. So, like your Motley Crue's, your Skid Rows, they were big influences of me too. So I feel like the Killin Candace sound is almost a mishmash of a bit of everything. And I've just tried to really put like a modern spin, on a good hard rock sound. So it's kind of where I'm at.
Nice.
Oh, I think you hit it right on the head. What's the the Hollywood and that whole Sunset area was the scene back in the 80s. What's the scene out there like now?
You know what, dude? It's in this weird dip. I've said it for the last few years because, it was really thriving. And the way I kind of see LA and the Hollywood scene is it kind of comes in waves. Like you had that big 80s hard rock scene, and then that kind of died out a little bit and grunge took over. But even that, I think, kind of came mostly out of like Seattle and the northern side. So LA was still in this weird dip. And then you had the 90s, which I guess bands maybe like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, they were coming through. And then you had that whole new metal movement, which kind of came out of LA too. And you had a bunch of bands. And then I remember I was still living in the UK up until the end of 2007. And around the mid 2000s, you also had that big like Orange County, like metalcore scene, come out of there. So like a few years went by. And, honestly, I haven't really heard a band in the last 15 years that I've been really blown away by. I think the last band that I really said, man, what a killer record, what a great sound, was probably like when Avenged Sevenfold released that City of Evil album. And I thought this is the best new band on the scene right now globally.
Right.
And I was having this conversation actually about a week ago with Jerry Montano, who's Danzig's bass player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Jerry were talking about maybe like doing a side project sometime, when we have some time outside of our main bands. And he was like, I got this idea for a hard rock sound, and we were just chatting. It was like, man, I really feel like the scene's in a weird dip. So to be honest, man, sorry to go the long way with this conversation, but
no, that's fine.
It's more just relativity. I feel like the LA music scene, has had some good bands that kind of pop here and there, but right now, dude, it's in this really weird dip where there's some great potential. I know some great local bands, and we're just not getting that push,
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, the LA scene, it's really weird because another thing is, it is a city where the cost of living is pretty crazy. So a lot of people come out here, and we do what we can to really get our projects rolling. But the one setback I think every band will admit to having is financial and budget issues when it comes to really pushing your band, because people are putting so much into cost of living out here that it literally leaves you penniless for investing in solid things like PR and marketing campaigns. And I'm just being real, and a lot of musicians out there, they live it up on the social medias and stuff, but the reality of it is like that's where a lot of their promotions going in, and it pays off for some guys, but with other people, they just don't have the finances and budget to put into what's important and where you're really going to get your sound out there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. LA, dude. I feel like anything could go. I feel like the live scene is dying, to be honest. And sometimes I wonder if that's been in the social media age, where everyone's kind of glued to technology. And I'm not sure how it is in like other parts of the country. I'm sure that there's more thriving cities for music scenes, but in LA, dude. And again, maybe it's just the whole cost of living thing, and people are, just fucking broke. But people are stingy, man. It's hard to get people to come out to shows, because
that's a shame. Because Go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
I was just gonna say that's a shame because the Strip is such a classic live music setting.
Yeah. It really is, dude. But do you know what? Since we kind of saw the demise of like the House of Blues back in, I think, 2013 or 2014, that for me was like the start of, the decline, because it left us minimal solid clubs to play at around Hollywood. Like now, yes, you still have the Viper Room.
Yeah,
but that's been up and down. They've gone through several different management changes, and they've had different booking agents. The Whiskey, as much as I love the Whiskey, to death, great place, a lot of history. But the Whiskey operates on like a pay-to-play basis.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So local bands are getting like fucked left, right, and center because it's one of these deals where, yes, it creates great opportunities, and I think the best thing for a local band is to jump on a bigger show with a bigger band and, even risk, doing the pay-to-play thing if you're going to get a good press and promo of playing that show, maybe opening at a good slot for an established band. But just to go to the Whiskey to play, just a bog standard show, it's just not worth the investment, and that's just me being
how much just being real. How much does the Whiskey charge to do that? I find that terrible.
It's absurd, and I'll tell you two things I dislike about it. I'm not sure exactly. It basically varies by time slot. So obviously, if you want one of the shittier time slots, like you're playing basically to 10 people in the sound guy, like a 7 o'clock time slot. It might be, I don't know, $85 to $100, and that's just an estimate. But let's say you want like main headline slot opening for, I don't know, like LA Guns or Faster Pussycat. I mean, that's going to be a pretty penny, and I understand why the booking agents do it. It ruins it for independent musicians, to be honest.
Sure.
It ruins it because what it does is, I understand why they do it, because it goes towards paying the headlining act. So they do it to basically meet the guarantee, or meet most of the guarantee.
Yeah.
But what sucks is these guys make money on the fucking bar at the venues. These guys make money on just general ticket sales. And then also a lot of these venues, they even have contracts with the artists that say, oh, we want to take like 10 to 15% of your merch sales for selling you merch.
Yeah. Every major venue does that. Every arena in the world does it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of pisses a lot of us off because like it's not like these guys aren't making money, and then a lot of artists are left hanging. But then the second thing which annoys me, and this is no disrespect against any bands because I support all artists regardless of genre, what you play. We're all in the same game. We're all in it together. So if you're an artist and a musician, I've got you back. I support you, even if I don't particularly like your style of music. But what annoys me is as much as I'm for like diversity and good solid lineups, what it does with the pay to play thing, you get like your kind of high school kid bands that maybe their parents are investing in the band, and they'll like jump on these shows, or you'll get like the local fucking cover band or something, jump on these shows. And what it does, it just kind of throws off the whole vibe and the lineup.
I never thought of that, but you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some shows you'll get like 17, 18-year-old kids who might be solid musicians, but not really the best band for the fit, but because they could come up with the money, or because their parents would be like thrown in, on the pay to play deal. Then and you know what sucks with some of these like battle of the band competitions that are going on as well, those are the bands that end up getting further regardless of how good they are or not, because again it's all on a ticket based or a voting based system. So you could be absolutely solid bands, but let's just say like you don't have a good draw, and then you've got like the 17, 18-year-old like novices that come out, but they bring their whole fucking family and half their high school out. They're going to end up. Those guys end up playing fucking side stages at Warped Tour, based on fucking numbers. And I think it's unfair to the industry, and that's I know I've gone on a massive rant here, but
no, that's good.
That's kind of where everything is at, and you see with social media, it's about numbers. It's not about talent. It's not about like raw, pure like songwriting anymore. It's about numbers, and I think a lot of people frustrated by it. At least I am a little bit.
Oh, I can fully understand why you would be. I remember when the first time I heard about pay to play on the Strip, and I didn't really understand what it meant. I thought like you had to buy the tickets for the venue and then you would sell the tickets to the venue. I didn't really understand how it worked.
Yeah, I believe how it works is you agree a contract to say we agree to sell let's say like 50 tickets for this time slot, and what happens is if whatever ticket you're unable to sell, they expect you to cover the cost for. So if you only sell 40 tickets at $20 and you got 10 remaining, then when you get to the show that day to turn your ticket money in, they'll say like, oh well, you guys didn't sell these 10 tickets, you owe us like 10 tickets worth. So then you got to pay out your own pocket or forfeit the slot. Like I've known bands that have got cancelled on the day of the shows because they didn't meet the the stipulation.
Wow. Are clubs are clubs like that generally packed right now for live music?
Do you know, I've been in the studio most of this year, so I haven't honestly been out as far as the nightlife goes and shows. But again, like I think it's just the odd shows, and obviously the bigger shows and those bands that are riding on their name or they've been around a while, they're still drawing crowds for sure.
Yeah.
But as far as up and coming bands, I really don't know. I don't know. It seems probably mostly scarce. Like a lot of the local bands, the venues that they're playing, it's more mid-level size clubs to like smaller venues. I mean, I don't know. And Hollywood's interesting. And the thing about Hollywood is that they've been doing these jam nights the last few years, and they're great. They've been fantastic for exposure. And if you're a local musician, you can jump up. And how it works is you sign up and you basically get called up to play a song. It's all kind of pre-done in advance. You'll get like the songs that they want you to learn. Yeah. But there's no solid rehearsals. And usually every jam night, there's three. There's one at the Viper Room on a Monday. There's one at the Whiskey on a Tuesday, and there's one at a place called Lucky Strike on a Wednesday. And the organisers, what they do is they they hit people up and they're like, hey, we've got these. This is the song list, or this is the theme. You want to jump on this song? So they use like guitar players, bass players, drummers, singers, like all over the scene, from up and coming people to established musicians. And it's great because you might, be on stage with, like a member, like a session musician of like, top band.
Oh yeah.
And I've like played with some great people, and like we've had like some really fucking good musicians turn out at those jam nights.
Sure.
But what it's done is I feel like it's killed the live scene a little bit also, because people have got the mentality of, well, why would I pay 15, 20 bucks a ticket to go out and see, this local band, when for no cover, I can go out and see this established, musicians at these jam nights for free, and there's no cover on it. So I love the jam nights to death, and I've been connected to them. I played with them, but I think the reason that the like capacity and audiences are affected with local bands is because, people have just got that mentality of, why am I going to pay 10, 20 bucks a ticket, when I can go to the jam night, and like get in and see, and fucking see like Johnny Depp hanging out and stuff like that. So,
and you go see Tracy Guns play guitar, all night or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And actually Tracy's a bass player, Johnny, he's a friend of mine. He gets up at those jam nights all the time, so.
Yeah, I see. There's the Sin City Sinners do that too in Vegas quite a bit.
Yeah, do you know, I actually toured with Brent long time ago in 2007 when I was in the UK. I played bass for a band called Gypsy Pistoleros out there, and we actually did the 20th anniversary tour with Faster Pussycat.
Oh wow!
But it was literally that last run that he did under the name, because I know there was a bunch of legal stuff going on, and Tammy ended up getting the rights to the name, and then it was a really interesting, controversial situation, because they were also advertising for the first annual Rocklahoma, which we actually played. Yeah. And what happened was all the press was done, and all the press conferences they did with Brent and Eric Stacey, like three original members. And then when it came to the festival, it was actually Tammy's version that ended up playing the festival. So that was a really weird,
weird.
Yeah. But
wow, there was a lot of that going on with those 80s bands, which is a shame.
It is, but do you know what? It was good to see Tracy and Phil link back up in LA Guns.
Oh yeah, I agree. That I have their new record is pretty good, but the one that they released with the song Speed on it was that record was unbelievable.
Yeah, to be honest, man, like I really think like Tracy Guns is one of the most underrated guitar players ever. He gets credit, but no one's talking about him like when it comes to like your Vais and your Satrianis and your Eddie Van Halens. He falls down, but dude, for just all around personality and on stage, like he's still got it. He's one of my favorite guitar players for sure.
One of my favorite bands of all time is LA Guns. I love that band. And, and Tracy is such a monster player.
He is, dude. I remember seeing him one time. I lived on the East Coast for a minute, and I saw him in Charlotte, North Carolina. And he, when all these bands about probably 10, 12 years ago, about 10 years ago, we're using like their big fucking stacks and half stacks. Like he just fucking came on stage, dude, with like literally like an awesome like 30 watt, 50 watt combo amp. Yeah. Plugged in, found his tone, and he just fucking shredded, dude. And that was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. Like in these days and era where technology is super advanced and crazy, he's got his Les Paul. He plugs into like a little combo amp, and he just wails.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I follow him quite a bit on Facebook, and he's always testing out like these tiny, like the new tiny amps that they're making.
Mhm.
So it's pretty interesting to do. What are you playing on stage now, like for amps and stuff?
I use Black Star. I
Oh,
love Black.
nice.
Yeah, and obviously I'm a little bit biased being from Britain because they're made in Northampton. But yeah,
Yeah.
I got linked up with those guys at one of the NAMM festivals. But previously to that, I actually a long time ago I opened for Crash Diet, who are one of my favorite bands.
Nice.
Um, so
They have a new record out today, don't they?
yeah, they have a new singer. I know for this record because they've had such bad luck, like up and down with singers after their original singer, Dave Leppard, died. And for me, that was when they pinnacled, to be honest. I think that's probably around 2004 or 5. And then Dave, I guess, committed suicide and they replaced him with a guy from another band. And then he had to go back to his band. And then they replaced him with Simon Cruz, who was great. But then he just kind of vanished and fell off the map. And then I think they're picking it back up. So I'll be interested to check out the new record. But yeah, I was opening up for Crash Diet, and their tech was so cool. He was like, "Oh, hey man, save throwing all your gear up on here. You can just run through their cabs if you want." And I was like, "Oh, all right, sweet." So I ran my amp head through one of their Black Stars, and it was just so fucking beefy. And I was like, "Damn, dude, like these rigs are awesome." And ever since that show, I was like, I'm going to get a Black Star endorsement. Don't care how I do it, or I'm going to get a Black Star rig. And then it wasn't until about 6 years later that I was at a NAMM festival. And I ran into Alex Kane, who Alex played with a band called, what they call it? Can't remember the name of the band, but long story short, they opened for the Murder Dolls a long, long time ago. And I saw him in my hometown, and then I ran into him at NAMM. And what happened was I got chatting with him, and then I saw that he was endorsed with Black Star too. So I went over to the Black Star stand at NAMM, and I talked to Lauren, who ended up becoming my rep. He's the LA rep for Black Star and Korg USA. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, give me a shout, blah, blah, blah. And, usually NAMM's such a hectic time, to hit manufacturers up for endorsements because they get flooded, and they get flooded with people. But I gave it a couple months, and I hit them up, and I really wasn't that active, to be honest. I think I was still riding the EP, and what happened was they said, yeah, give us a shout when you're more active, when you're touring, and we can, maybe figure out an artist deal for you. And now, honestly, what happened was a year went by, and I was in the studio, but I got an offer to go tour with some friends that have a band called Firing All Cylinders, and they actually just dropped a record. They're a pretty good LA-based like rock metal outfit. So I took a tour with Firing All Cylinders in 2017, and what happened was I hit Lauren up again at Black Star, and I'm like, hey man, this is my situation. I'm going to be on the road. You could get some good promotion from it, etc. And we went ahead and linked the deal up, and that's how I ended up getting linked up with Black Star. And I love the amps, man. They really helps,
nice.
Kind of mold my sound. Great amps, and I'm not pissing on Marshall at all, because I was always that Marshall Gibson, slash combo guy. But I compared the Marshall to the Black Star, and the Black Star just got that bit more bite and balls to the sound, so they won me over. And a lot of artists are using Black Star and switch to Black Star regardless of what genre you are. Just their tones cover so many genres, so great. So yeah, that's my rig.
Nice,
awesome. So tell us what's Killin Candace up to these days.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting year because I got everything kind of in a position where I can really start pushing the band. Last year I recorded the EP with Damien Reyno, who's the bass player for Once Human. And those guys have Logan from Machine Head. I think he's their guitar player.
Yeah. So, yeah, Logan Mader, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So Logan plays with with Damien. I did my EP with him, just to kind of once put it out there. I hadn't really done anything as far as my main band and solo stuff goes for a while because I was literally playing guitar for everyone else's band in LA and put my stuff on the back burner. And then after I got back off that tour, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get back to my own stuff and really start pushing this and have a solid push in 2019. So last year we knocked out the EP, and then I shot a video with Matt Zane from Society One. So Matt did the Misdeception video, and I ended up running a PR campaign for that, and we got a premiere through Vents magazine, dropped it in February, and that was just kind of to let people know, like, hey, I'm back on the scene. This is my new project, my new sound. I'm ready to kind of roll with it, and got my band together, and we played 3 shows this year. It's all I've done. And again, because like kind of going back to what I was saying about the local scene in LA, we're all very hungry as musicians. You have to be. But I was weighing up, like, how beneficial is it for me to play a local LA show when my main goal with this project is to market it as like a touring band or like a festival band,
right?
So the local shows are great for testing out new music or testing out your set, maybe, getting a few gigs under your belt. But to be honest, like, I just felt like I'm better off being in the studio or, continuing to produce content and material because that's going to take me further in the long run. So what happened was I got, I put some stuff out, put a lyric video out in the Misdeception video, had like a pretty strong set. And then I played 3 shows in LA. Nothing crazy, just local shows, and we got picked up by MGI Management. So, and I'd known Sean for a while, Sean Baruch. He's the main guy. He's got a lot of good connections. He's also got the Cherry Bombs on the roster, which is Corey Taylor's fiance.
Okay.
Her group. So he's got a really good roster. Actually, funny enough, Matt, who shot our video, Society One, he's kind of revamping these bands, and they have a record coming out there. They're on the roster too. Sean, I've known him a while. He hit me up and he saw that we were active. And this was around May, June. He said, "Hey, I'm adding bands to the roster. What do you guys got going on?" And I was like, "Dude, not too much. We have no offers on the table. I really appreciate that you hit me up." And I was happy to do it and see what direction he can help take us in. Because as an independent artist, there's only so much you can do, really. You don't have access to all those connections and middlemen that you need. I think at best, you can just risk a PR campaign, and that can be 50-50. And sometimes you get some good hits, and sometimes you fall short. So I was like, you know what, let's do it. So I linked up with Sean, and this was literally just in June, a couple months back, and we've just really been focusing on the PR game. And I told him, like, I honestly don't feel like the local LA shows are that beneficial to me, and my goal, whether I had management or not, was to save up a budget to put the band on the road, because that ultimately looks better as far as press goes. I feel like that'd get us further, even doing like an independent quick 10 show run on the West Coast or something.
Yeah,
sure.
It all builds up, as far as your resume goes. So I told him my situation. He was like, yeah, we're pretty much on the same page. I've got some ideas. I think we need to get your PR game up, your press game a little bit. And he said, I really feel like I can market you better if you have a full-length product. So what he said was, get back in the studio, get an album's worth of material together. So it sounds like he's trying to push to get us a record deal, which is great. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. We've played a handful of shows, and I'm still definitely open to shows to test the new material. But for me, I'm really excited about the upcoming releases, which are pending. But pretty much just been in the studio the last couple months and just getting that content, together to put towards the album, which will release at some point next year.
Okay.
Awesome.
Chris?
No, I'm good. I'm all good. I really appreciate the time you've given us here today. And
Oh, guys, thank you so much.
I can't wait to hear the rest of the record, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that good rock and roll making a comeback now, and I like that a lot.
Do you know what, man? I can't stress the importance of like authenticity and being and almost being like a revolutionary style band, you know. And this doesn't come from ego or arrogance, you know. Like I weighed up my options with music, and I told Sean this. I was like, dude, it's so difficult for us to play shows right now with local bands because our sound has got a bit more of a uniqueness to other bands, you know. Like, I'm not claiming to be the most original artist out there. You can definitely hear the influences in the music, but as far as linking up with other bands, it seems like I found that niche and found that swagger that does set us apart. And I can't stress the importance of that, you know, for upcoming artists or bands that are going through maybe a metamorphosis and changing their sounds. You know, just do what comes natural to you, because that's all I've done. You know, I think you can definitely hear the influences in my sound, but you know, I'd like to think that, you know, we do stand out from the average band.
Right.
But yeah, you know, for me right now, I said to Sean, dude, yes, it's always great. You know, every band wants to open for their favorite band, but for me, rather than being that band that wants to, you know, open for everybody else, I'd rather almost try and be that pioneer band, you know, that kind of pioneers a whole new scene or revolutionizes music. So going back to also what you said earlier about you know, how's the music scene in LA, to be honest, what I'm trying to do is kind of build as a community in a new wave of like the rock metal sound, and just kind of hopefully just, you know, break out in the next year or so, and kind of just bring a new scene with it, you know, of upcoming great young bands. So that's kind of where I'm at, you know, with the project.
Nice. I know we talked to a band just recently the other day. I'll let you go here in a second, but we talked to Wild Street out of New York.
Yes.
And they're kind of doing something very similar, that real kind of aggressive rock and roll that we really love.
Yeah, those guys have been doing that a while, because I remember that they were on one of the Rocklahoma festivals like long time ago. But yeah, I do know of those guys. I think Eric is this singer.
Yeah.
And
Eric Jack.
Yes, yeah. My buddy Johnny. I don't know if you remember a band from a long time ago. They were a really good band. They were about to, you know, have a good push. They're called Dirty Penny from Santa Cruz.
No, not familiar.
No, they did like a big tour with Veins of Jenna, I think around 2010, and they went out to Europe, and I felt like they were going to get a good push, and then they just kind of fell off the map, and I guess they dispersed. But Johnny, their guitar player, played with Wild Street for a minute. I think it was when they did that tour with Diamonds a long time ago. But yeah, I did notice those guys are making like a bit of a comeback. 'Cause it seemed like they were a bit stagnant for a second.
Yeah, I think he said they had disappeared for a while and kind of went their separate ways, and then they put it back together. And I mean, their new single, Tennessee Cocaine, was pretty cool. We were grooving on it the other day.
Nice.
So it's nice to see both sides of the coast. There's like, you know, a push to get some real aggressive rock and roll back, not necessarily metal. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I'm a metalhead, but I kind of grew up on that whole LA scene, and I like that.
And I also like how it's become more modern. You know, it's still rock and roll, because it will always be rock and roll, but it's also moved, you know, into a more modern space, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it gives me an opportunity to kind of check out these bands and see, you know, how they've evolved. You know, because everybody's sound, you know, will evolve through the years, for sure. You know, mine has. Even in the space of a year, the stuff I'm writing now, it's got a slightly different feel to it, but it's still set in that, you know, like high energy, kind of hard rock, you know, good driving sound. I like to kind of, you know, keep that there, because that's kind of my, I don't know the word for it, but, you know, that's just my natural, deal. So, yeah, I'll have to actually go back and check out some of Wild Street's new stuff. It's good to see that those guys are back on the scene, because
we just spoke to him, I think, beginning of this week or something.
Yeah. It was this week or last week. Yeah, really nice guy.
I watched one of the recent interviews as well you did with one of the guys from Heavy Petting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a good. Is he from Scotland originally?
They're from Scotland originally, and he lives like in Houston or something now. I think he said.
Yeah,
yeah. Because all I could hear was this thick Scottish accent. I was like, I know of the band, but I didn't realize those guys were UK based.
Yeah,
or were. That's funny, mate. I feel like everyone's had a little run in Texas because I actually lived in Houston before I moved out to LA.
Really?
Yeah, I was in Houston, but to be honest, there wasn't much of a music scene there. Like, they have a cool amphitheater and they have the Warehouse Live thing. Warehouse Live is great, but it gets a lot of still gets a lot of those like 80s bands in. Like, I know like bands like Warrants and Faster Pussycat still do that circuit and that scene. But yeah, the Warehouse Live District is great. But other than that, it was a bit more of that kind of like indie college vibe, sound.
Yeah.
So I didn't enjoy Houston because I couldn't get my band off the ground there, and it was a bit limited.
Dallas has a good scene though, right?
It does actually. What's funny is I spent more time in Dallas, really.
Down in that Deep Elm section, right?
Oh yeah, it's killer. It's killer. You got trees up there. Actually, my drummer is out in Dallas, Fort Worth. He's a drum teacher out there. Yeah. So I actually spent just as much time in Dallas because at that time I was there. I ended up helping out a friend's band and playing bass for them, and they were based in like the Fort Worth area. So.
Yeah. Well, cool. That's all I've got, Chris.
Yeah, I'm good. I really appreciate you taking the time and chatting with us. I really can't wait to hear the new record.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just kind of doing it in my stride, So, like, I estimated April, but in that time frame of working on it, I'm definitely going to drop a couple singles and a video. So, there'll be new stuff. So yeah, just keep an eye out on the social medias or KillinCandace.com. And you'll be able to keep up with everything. But hey, I did have a question for you guys, actually. Whereabout are you based in the US?
I'm in Richmond.
I'm in DC.
DC, okay. Cool.
Well, I'm not really stuff. DC, but I just say DC because it basically is. It's North. I'm in North Virginia.
Okay, awesome. No, I was just curious. Hey guys, since I am the #1 poster boy for destroying censorship, I decided to send you guys a not radio friendly version, and this one's called Misdeception.
Finger on the trigger and I'm gonna end it all. Feels like my heart's still breaking. There's no chance for resurrection. Goodbye to you, misdeception.
I appreciate you guys so much, and give me a shout anytime. You know, if you guys need jingles or new music, or you just want to check in, or you want to do a follow-up interview,
Awesome.
always happy to give my time to you. Thank you so much.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
All
Have
right.
a good day.
Have a great
Hey,
weekend,
be well.
guys.
Take care,
Cheers.
brother.
Bye-bye.
Hello out there.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.